So in the top 5 real estate markets, the hottest markets in the US right now for explosive growth, Spokane's number 4. It used to be very affordable, but we are seeing an increase in living costs right now because it's kind of the rise of the second tier cities, right? So a lot of the Boise's, the Spokanes are getting a lot more residential people moving in, which is good though, because Spokane has a lot of great things to share.
So when we pulled it, our first impression was, wow, that is so skinny.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody builds that skinny with this much space. I mean, there's not density here.
No, it's a very unique design. We weren't coming here to be, oh, look at what we can build, this huge thing. It's being purposeful, right? And not being that sore thumb in the neighborhood. There's a ton of new construction that you can tell just looks like new construction, right? We don't want to be the sore thumb that sticks out, right? We want to feel connected. So having something that kind of blends in, but also fits our mission statement as far as this is nature. Like, we want to look like we're blending part of nature, hence keeping the trees and the color. Everything's very natural color tones, so it fits. Okay, so right up here, one of the first things everyone says with our guests is like, wow, this is cool.
It's like an oasis.
Yeah, right? So if you notice, you'll see some old growth trees. That was one of the ideas with the partnerships when we were doing the Blockhouses. We wanted old growth trees. We don't want to, come in here and break up the site and make it a traditional construction zone, right? So we said, hey, let's not get rid of these trees if we don't have to. So if you'll notice, some of the Blockhouses are set to the side of these trees. And then on the side, the exterior of the blockhouse is that really cool color. That's reclaimed wood. So these are actually from downtown Spokane area, and some of the old buildings were coming down. So we gave it a new life. And then even stuff like our fencing over here. Yeah, it's upcycled, recycled wood. So everything in here is thoughtfully planned out. This is kind of the community area. A lot of people will have their pups out here. That's one of the things that shocked us when we first opened this, right? Like 2 weeks into it, if you come in here in the mornings, a lot of our guests don't know each other, but they'll come out and they'll talk, they'll drink their coffee together. It's a little community. So it's really, really cool to see people, if you give them enough common ground, what they'll do, right?
So you were able to build an extensive, I mean, you did a lot of work here, yet all the old trees were able to survive, right? I mean,
I think only one tree, I don't know for sure, but I think it was only one tree had to come down. But that was the goal, is like, we don't want to come in here and hack everything down.
But it's just amazing. I mean, the size of these trees. It's not a total linear design.
No,
right?
yeah, and it gives it a feel though, right? And that's what we really wanted. So if you walk all the way through, you'll see we had to de-limb some of it, right? But the easy thing would have been just to hack everything down, right? And build what you wanted. But we didn't want that. We want people to come here and feel a sense of community, nature, and feel connected. So keeping these trees really, really helped out.
So the concept was to build a bit of density here rather than just single family homes?
Yeah, so urban infill, that's a big thing today, and especially with Spokane growing. Spokane's growing more and more.
Here, you just went up. It's skinny.
Yeah, it is skinny.
Why? Why not go out?
It's energy efficient. Yeah, so it's a net zero micro design. Yeah, so one of the things you'll notice, we have 3 different versions of the Blockhouse. So this is 960 square foot. We have the north rooms, which is 480 square feet. And then these 2 right here are 960 west stories. And then you get into right here, so this is the 240 square foot Pacific Micro Studios.
Okay,
all right, so let's go check out. This is the 960 square foot 2-story. And then on the inside, the structures are actually made out of CLT. The first thing every guest notices is the exposed wood. So this is the cool part. So this is CLT. So this is literally the structure that it's built out of. It's just exposed, because when you get to use cross-laminated timber, you can actually leave it exposed. But there's an actual study done as far as humans working inside spaces that have wood versus steel or concrete. And they found that humans were much happier inside spaces that have wood, right? Because there's something natural about it. And in that study, they found that humans will touch it. The humans will touch wood because they know it's usually not too cold, not too hot, but humans won't touch concrete or steel because usually it's too hot or too cold. So there is something connecting you with the CLT and the wood. So it's very, very cool.
Why CLT?
Because it's sustainable. So our CLT, we work with two businesses about an hour from here. We work with Vaughan Brothers, and they work with the National Forest Service in Colville, so the Colville National Forest. So it's our local forest, and it's forest restoration. So it's not just any trees being cut down, it's ones to help benefit the forest. So usually trees that have been infected, they're doing forest restoration.
Would that also affect, like today we see forest fires?
Yes,
so
it's a great,
that...
I'm no expert on
Yeah.
it, but what I do know, so what happens is forest restoration, so they go in and what happens is they clean out all the trees or all the underbrush that's fuel for those fires to burn really hot, because traditionally the big old growth trees can withstand those fires, right? They have the bark, they have the mass, they have the root system. So what happens is a lot of those underlings, those fuel underlodge is what they call it, and so when it burns hot. And so what happens is the Vaughan Brothers, they go through and they do the forest restoration. So it leaves the forest in a better place, more resistant against forest fire. And then Vaughan Timbers is the CLT plant. You lay one vertical board and then one horizontal board, and then there's glue in between. They heat them up, and it creates a very strong structure. So
without having to use a big tree.
yeah.
So you
They're
see
great
that the
partner.
roof is also CLT.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Ceiling.
The whole structure, the whole thing, literally. So when we assembled these, they showed up flat packed. I think it's something like 70-80% of the carbon emissions is during the construction process. So our stuff shows up literally designed for a blockhouse, right? So you show up flat packed on a semi truck, and then it's like Legos at that point. There's literally instructions. So the assembling is a lot easier on the site disturbance too, and that's why, again, we're able to keep the old growth trees, because the site disturbance was so easy to put these things together like Legos.
Can you see a seam then? Is that a seam possible?
Oh yeah, yeah, and they'll crack because it's wood. So it's when it's hot and it's cold, it's expanding or it's retracting, right? So it's still going to have little cracks in it from expanding and retracting, but completely safe. The structure's sound.
But this here might be where two panels came together? Where
Yeah,
you
and I think we even ran. Yeah, you'll see there's even a wire ran up through it to kind of hide, so you can't see it. It's like
You don't notice it.
yeah.
What about the cabinets? You continue with a little bit of wood. Is that real wood?
Yeah, so these are all hidden. This one just pulls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so this is that that fully functional tiny home living. Here's your fridge.
That's great.
Yeah, and this is your freezer. Like everything has a purpose, right? So a lot of thought been put into this. Your dishwasher.
It's true, but hiding everything, you don't see all the this
No.
industrial, like,
Yeah.
all that soft wood look.
Yeah. Okay, so we can check out the rest of the place. So it's 2-bedroom, and this is kind of the office part. Like I said, this is an annual residence, so they get to do what they want with the place. And we got a cool little pod. It's one of my favorite features of the
furniture.
yeah, it's a little pod.
I love how this is framed here. It's just to kind of have a window seat.
Yeah, yeah. You can have a window seat. You can read. You can bring over that little desk that comes over, and you can sit here and type. So.
Okay.
So here in this siding, we actually have the section of the CLT.
Yeah. So you can see it. So they make Vaughan Timbers makes a 3-ply, 5-ply, or 7-ply, and that simply means how many boards are across, right? So one's vertical, and then this one's horizontal, and another running vertical. Glue in between. They heat them up. They run them through a fancy machine that presses them and heats them up, and then good to go. So this is a 3-ply, so there's 3 pieces of wood here, one going vertical, one horizontal, one vertical. And so there's glue laid in between and they're heated up. So the structure itself is the wood. And it's really cool that you can actually have the structure and you can see it and you don't gotta finish it with any drywall or anything. Yeah, so upstairs we go, and then if you look at these stairs, you can see again the exposed CLT 3-plies.
So the CLT is the stairs again.
Yeah.
It's the full,
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, there's nothing else. The CLT is the stairs. And then you can see here the plies again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's a 5-ply. So obviously the thickness is the more weight and structurally sound. So everything's CLT all the way up. It's pretty cool. And then we have a bedroom here.
Even you are touching the wood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's natural. I'm telling you. Everybody does it. It's a very natural feeling. So this is one of my favorite because it just is so different. You walk in, you're like, whoa, this is cool.
This is like a box bed.
Yeah, right. It's so different. It's cool. And there's so much natural light. That's one thing, we really were focused on, is making sure there's a lot of natural light coming in.
Again, this sense of almost open privacy with the nook feeling, but at the same time it's floating and it's open.
Yeah.
Like a cabin bed.
Yeah, that's
you know?
Yeah, that's what we'll start calling it, is the cabin bed. All the way through. Again, we wanted it to be inviting with natural light. So, and this is the other bedroom. We have a bunk up top because again, you got to utilize the space as much as you can to where you can have storage up here is what we use it for. I have a daughter who's only 4, so she would think this is the coolest thing ever. So we'd probably get a little sleeping bag up here for her. So right here, we sacrificed a little bit of space for the bedroom so we could have a walk-in closet. And so, yeah.
Huge.
So it just will slide. And so you can use this as our door.
Yeah, it makes sense to do that kind of door for small space.
Right?
Yeah.
Because again, utilize your space.
Yeah. And it's pretty.
It is.
Pretty.
It's all natural wood.
So consistent. You see it in the kitchen, you see it here on the bottom of the...
Yeah, again, so bathroom, the same wood style, full shower, but again, being purposeful with our space, so hidden cabinets, just like the kitchen. Every one, all the way through. Purposeful with your design, and you can do anything. I don't know about you guys, but this has way more space than mine. So for a micro design, we're doing all right. The window is kind of small, right? But we did need privacy because we're building all these units around each other. So we, you don't want to have a window too big for your bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. See if it's out a little bit. Yeah, it's super vertical. Look at that.
Yeah, it is vertical. Right here is the bird eye view. So that's South Perry Street right there. And these are all restaurants. So you can see there's cool little thrift shops here for retail. That's a restaurant, that's a restaurant, that's a restaurant. That's Perry Brewery right there. And then...
And you see all the Blockhouses.
Yep. So 2 there, one kind of hidden on the left over here, the 960s, 2 960s there, 240s. And the way they're designed too on these 240s, you can see this kind of single one, is they just hug each other. So it's the same building, but each one's 240 square feet. Kind of see where the seam comes down, utilizing the space we have. And again, you can see all the old growth trees. It really just gives it a cover, right? Like we even have one on the top of us right now that's coming up over and giving us that kind of canopy feel. And it just feels like being in the center of a community, right? And you got housing and retail and restaurants everywhere. Having those trees are extremely important, giving us that kind of natural feel still.
Right, you can't really buy that.
No, yeah, literally. And that's my wife and my daughter right there.
Oh, hi.
Hey! Who's up here? Go, hi, I am.
Wow.
Let's go in our 240 square foot micro studio. This is definitely all about functional space. So it's 240 square feet, still CLT constructed, and then the bed is actually a queen Murphy bed.
So right now it's set up like a living room?
Yep, living room, functional space, and then as the night comes down and you want to take a nap and or sleep, and then just pull. It comes down. It's not as heavy as you would think, and then the little leg flips over, and voila. You now have your bed.
Great. I love how then now it exposes the CLT.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
This is definitely only for sleeping because you lose all your space.
You lose all your space, yep. So we can pop
Goes away during the day.
Goes away during the day for all the activities. Super easy. Pull it up. It's spring loaded, so it's assisted. Yeah. So it's not heavy, and it just goes right in there. And then you got your space back.
Exactly. So now you have all this space. I guess.
Yeah. So we have a full kitchenette. You have your full, it's even deep. And then you have 4 burners. You have your fridge and your freezer. So, and then your washer dryer combo. So this is both your washer and your dryer. And then full bathroom here.
Okay, so this is less wood again.
Yep.
Just easier to just tile it.
Yep, tile it. Yep.
Because the ceiling is the floor of something else.
Yep, that's CLT. Super simple, right?
It is simple.
And they're affordable.
Tiny, but it feels good.
So this space, we call it a micro studio just because it's got a little higher of a roof, right? And it doesn't really feel like an apartment per se. And it's not meant to be like an apartment. This is a community, right? So if you wanted to, you could, there's a lot of grass. We have, a community shared space. So, and there's a lot of things to do. So as you can get outside. Yeah, so every space comes with their own front porch, right? So we want the space to be as cool outside as it is inside, right? Because it's only 240 square foot, so it's not really meant to have that, oh, let's hang out inside all day effect. We wanted to have people sitting outside. And then on this side, you can still see, so both spaces have a shared spot, and it's like that all the way down. So again, a shared space. This one's the coolest one because we have the trees that are in between the 240 square foot. So these are two of the 240 square foot macro studios. So
You can see how
Yeah.
you left the tree.
yeah, literally built it around the structure. So the structure went around the tree, provides a canopy and a cool feel.
So you kind of beat an old tree, right?
Yeah, it's so cool. And then even here, we have butterfly ponds hidden throughout here to help butterflies. There's little pods that sit in here for butterfly ponds that run all the way through here. So when the time's right, you'll see a lot of bees and a lot of butterflies. It's hard to see because they're kind of overgrown, but they're hidden in there to where if you come over here, there'll be a lot of honeybees and then a lot of butterflies running all the way through. Who thinks of butterfly ponds? So, and hopefully in a few years, these grow up. So we have vines running up, which would be really cool.
As far as materials, you're probably using materials that age well, right? I mean, seems that you just didn't place something that feels foreign somewhere,
Right.
detached from the place.
Exactly. Like even just the exterior, it's hard to say what color, we talked about like what color of brown is this? We don't know.
I love how it looks in the light.
I know.
It really is
And it's a different color. So depending on if it's light, shade, depending on what season it is, it always looks different.
Interesting.
So our adjacent building over here actually is our solar power. So everything about it is very locally derived. So this building right here, the solar panel actually sits up on top of here. And it's amazing because it's an adjacent building. So it's pulling power and feeding a whole different concept on this side. So a whole different community.
So that's somebody else's building. You said, can we use your roof?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
said, sure.
Yeah. Some of the same development partners owned this building,
Okay.
so we just went to the tenants and we said, hey, is it cool if we put these? That's the thing about South Perry, Spokane in general, is we're very community orientated. So the parking, so these are the only, so out of the 12 units, these are the only ones you have literally 3 or 4 parking spots. So we do ask our guests that, hey, you know what, if you want, we have a share point here, and this is a riding share point. And again, this is CLT right here, so this would be a 3-ply. And this is Blockhouse Life Ride Share.
So, and is it bus? Is there a bus nearby?
Yeah, the route comes right through here, so literally 1 block away, and there you go.
And so you step out, and like this is already a restaurant?
Yeah, this is South Perry Brewery here. So when it's hopping in the afternoon, you can walk all the way through, and people and guests will be through here.
So this is
Yeah, yep. All this stuff was here way before us. Been around for a very long time. And you can see just all the nooks and like you can't. I mean, look there's a windmill building there.
I mean, look at
Yeah, retail.
windmill.
So, this is what drew us to Perry Street because Blockhouse Perry is currently first. It's the first, but it's the only Blockhouse community we have. So.
Because you want to do more.
Yeah, we want to do more, but Perry Street's been so successful that you got to find unique communities to team up with. It's a mutual beneficial relationship. And then South Perry Pizzas. And then the Blockhouse, right, is just on the other side. You can just see the tips of them, right? There's the 960s you can see.
So they're smelling the pizza.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd come down and just get a beer and a pizza real quick, literally a 10-second walk.
So you could see this as a way of being the Starbucks of infill, like putting these in lots of different
Right.
places.
Yeah, so think of it this way. We don't want to be the guys who pull in a lot of money and then outsource it, right? Pull in the community finances and then none of those dollars come back. So it's important for us to use local everything